partner with Axon, you immediately gain access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. We carry all major brands and sizes of tires and wheels. We specialize in large diameter wheels for large equipment. We have one of the largest OEM replacement wheel inventories in North America. Known for extreme flotation setups, duals, and triples, we have wheels for all makes and models of tractors, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. If we don't have the wheel in stock, we'll custom build, sandblast, and paint in-house. There isn't a more vast inventory in North America dedicated to helping dealers move more iron. With facilities on the West Coast and in the heart of the Midwest, leverage our 230,000 square feet of indoor inventory to solve any problem a grower may have. Move more iron with Axon.
Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast number 350. This edition of Moving Iron Podcast, Aaron and I are going to talk about a few things that have got me, that really are kind of bothering me a little bit too, with what I hear out there in the marketplace. So Aaron, how you been, man?
I'm terrific. And I just have to throw this out there. It's an honor. It is an honor to be on podcast 350.
Yeah.
You might say it's podcast 5.7 liter.
Could be 5.7 liter.
Like a rock, baby.
Vortex V8 engine. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's the...
it's March 31st today.
Mm-hmm.
And we got, what, 6 inches of snow?
Yeah, it's second winter all over again.
It's nice. It's
So
awesome.
I don't know where you guys, whoever, if you're listening to this and you're in the Nebraska Panhandle, you get what I'm saying. But here in we have this thing called second winter. Most people call it spring, and the reason we call it second winter is because it'll be like yesterday, 65 degrees, nice day, right?
Yep.
Cool mornings. You know, you saw the 25 28 degree morning, that kind of thing. But you have this, and then you'll have 28 degrees and 6 inches of slushy snow, and which we need the moisture. I'm not gonna complain about it, but we have that, and then like next week, I think next week's all just a
70 this weekend.
Right.
Literally 70 and a foot of snow Tuesday.
Yeah, that's second winter. That's what we call it here.
Right on.
It's the I will say this though, this is usually when you typically get the most snow
Oh, yeah.
in the area.
Yeah. We usually have an open winter until March.
Until March, April, May, and the 1st of June. And
When you get to March 15th, if it hasn't snowed, you're going to get your ass handed to you at some point.
There's a big one coming. So
Absolutely.
we've had a lot of snow this winter, and it's going to continue that way, which we need all the help we can get. So
But, as they say, you don't have to scoop rain.
you don't. That is a good point.
But it justifies having lots of toys at maybe like a half-ass sheep farm.
Yeah,
It
does.
that's why you got to have 8 loader tractors. It's all this snow.
You can convince yourself that you need all that.
It pencils out because I said.
I have a spreadsheet that proves it.
There you go.
There you go. All right. So a lot of stuff happening in the equipment marketplace. We've talked about a lot of different things on here. We've had a bunch of different aspects of folks come on and talk about what they see happening in the marketplace.
Even globally.
We've gotten to the point now where the comparisons from 22 into 23 are starting to come in, and they annoy the shit out of me. I'm just going to be upfront with you here, because I want everyone to remember this, that when you are looking at those articles, as you're saying that combine sales are 600% higher, 300% higher, and row crop tractors are this, that, and the other thing, these huge numbers that are coming out, everyone needs to remember that. And if you're one of the people on the waiting list, you'll remember this. The machinery that was supposed to be delivered from every manufacturer in January, February, March, April timeframe got delivered in July, August, September, October, November, December, and January.
Yesterday.
January 23. So, when you're looking at that stuff, these are just simple numbers for simple math. But if you had 2 machines get settled this time last year and 12 machines got settled the same time frame this year, that's a 600% increase. it's not because you did all of a sudden just the world floodgates came flying open and there's all this supply and everything's coming in and everyone's just all this stuff that you see happening right now is because of delays and stuff like that. We'll see. We'll have that same conversation in October and see what the scale looks like then.
The other thing on top of that is, and it's direct correlation, obviously, is the dollars in sales talk.
Yeah.
Where you can't do that. Literally a 22 combine, regardless of color, is substantially higher dealer net than a 21 was.
Yep.
Everybody, and not just combines, every single product.
Sure.
Okay. So that immediately eliminates dollars in sales being an actual factor because you didn't have your standard annual price increases. Right. Okay. Right. And it's just like it's everything. Parts sales is that way too, because net wrap, I use net wrap. It went up 100. It was 300, went 400. That's what, 33%.
Yep.
Am I right? Math guy.
Yep.
So it went up 33%.
Yep.
So you can't count how many rolls did you sell?
Right.
Not the dollars.
Yep.
Because you're $100, you're 33% higher. Every 3 you sell is a free one.
Right.
Yep. And that doesn't compute that way.
Yeah, you have to look at the units that are being sold right now,
right,
and how that matches up with what you see happening. Because, Aaron, you got a great point there. I mean, it's not. If I went back through and associated dollar sales over previous years and everything else,
right,
year over year, there's always your dollar sales are always higher.
Oh yeah,
there's price increases and there's demand changes and there's all kinds of stuff play into that. But typically, even margin, right? Everything changed. I mean, just different things happen that flip different switches and different,
right.
Where it's different at this year is that, or in these last 3 years anyway, is that you go back to 20 into 21, 21 into 22, 22 into 23, and what those look like in each one of those years, there were significant changes in the way things were being priced because of availability,
right,
supply chain issues, all this stuff. I mean, labor. I mean, just so much stuff was getting played into that. And then you start looking at the number of machines that got sold and where and when they got delivered and how those things play out. Half the stuff that was supposed to have been, I'm over exaggerating that a little bit, but a good portion of the stuff that was supposed to have gotten delivered in 21 got delivered in 22.
Right.
A good portion of stuff in 22 that's supposed to be delivered in 22. Now it's getting delivered in 23. I mean, and we're going to see the same thing. There's a chunk of stuff that should have gotten delivered in 22. It's going to get delivered in 24. I mean,
you want a good example of that? Sold a guy a combine November 21. Got there last week. A used one.
So
and mine was the third trade on the new one, right? So you just the new one shows up.
Yeah.
You got another month.
Yeah.
Basically, get it through a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But then, it took a week to swap.
Right.
And then, now we're PDIing this one. We can get to that one. And then, there's 3 weeks through it just keeps going, man.
So 15 months.
Yeah.
Almost a year and a half to get 3 months shy of a year and a half.
Yep.
To get it through to get that one delivered. So, I mean, these kind of things that are happening, yeah, you can look at your sales forecast and you can look at what the bottom line says and everything, there's so many extenuating circumstances that are playing into all of this stuff that drives me nuts when the media starts talking about this, that, and the other thing and talking the headlines that you read and the stuff you see. It's just it's misleading.
Where do you see the canary in the coal mine first in the equipment business? Auctions. Combine auctions.
Especially.
Scarcity premium.
Gone.
Evaporating.
Yeah.
If you look over, if the sun's shining just right, you can see the smeary lines of it leaving the earth.
Yeah. When you look at, so that's a good example. So let's take a little time spent and talk about the auction market. So you look at the auction market and you see the different moving pieces that are playing in that. You still have strong numbers on row crop tractors. I mean, the last time we talked about this with when I did my rundown here with the guys from Tractor Zoom, talking about that. This showed tractors were pretty flat, maybe just a little bit of an incline, but it was flat. I mean, it wasn't like it was a big curve by one way.
Well, and it's the time of year you're going to have some incline.
Right.
This
It's
is
that time of
the
year.
tractor month.
Yeah. And they showed some stuff with combines, and my comment on the combine thing was this is a very seasonal time for combine sales. Your combine sales are not going to be at a peak right now. I mean, I think the peak combine, my opinion, peak combine selling time is October through February.
For the country, yes. For the high plains, it's usually wheat kicks the combines off. So down, selling all over the country. I sell a lot of combines in April in Texas, May in Oklahoma, June in Kansas.
The wheat guys, it seems like to me the corn and bean row crop farming folks, they're coming in and they're looking at that combine purchase after harvest.
Right.
And you don't typically see that on the wheat side. You see a lot more combines sold going into wheat March, April, May, June, just like you talked about.
Yep.
And you'll see some on the flip side.
Yeah, and you got to think because there's not a lot of downtime between wheat's done.
Right.
Put the corn head on. Yeah. So that kind of makes sense. It is very rare to get a combine trade after wheat before corn.
Before corn, yeah. And you'll get just not very. And if you do that, if you get that, there's something typically. My experience, there's something significantly wrong with it, right?
Look at Overgood.
They've done it's something significantly issue where they can't either A, get it done, they don't have time to get it fixed, or B,
or it's a 10-year-old and for whatever reason can't get that final drive for the next 2 months. And
so the next best option is get yourself a new one.
We're here to help.
Yeah, that's right. We're here to help.
Hey, what's rule number one?
Forgot to play this.
What's rule number one? Party? No, not party. No, it's not party.
It
is. Every day is a combine party.
Every day is a combine party.
And if it's not a combine party, it's a chopper party.
Yeah. So as you're looking at the auction market, you're seeing, hey, you know what? You're starting to see some combine values start to kind of compress a little bit. You're starting to see that come down. I would say certain models of tractors. I'm talking are we talking big 4-wheel drives? We're talking about crotch segment, those kind of things. The 4-wheel drive segment, I have not seen anything that indicates to me, depending on what it is, right, that shows to me that the 4-wheel drive market has slowed down any. I mean, as far as price goes, I mean, they're still hard to get. It's still hard to get new ones. If you have a track machine, good luck.
Right.
Because it's just tracks are so hard to find, whether you're talking single tracks, or you're talking, a 4-track, quad track thing. It's just hard to find those right now. And there's, I don't know why that's gotten to be such a difficult thing, but if anything, it
has something to do with COVID.
Well, you think by now they'd have it figured out, but it's almost like it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
It's not gotten better.
Certain things have.
Yeah.
They really have.
Yeah.
But, and everything is showing up in flushes. That's what kills me.
Yeah.
Like, that container showed up in San Jose. We're going to be able to build 5 more tractors this week, and here they all are.
Yep. And so I look for there to be, I was talking like, hey, 24, we're going to see some movement in price and this kind of thing. I still think we're going to see that trickle through that, but I think it's going to be pocketed to very specific models of machinery, right? I think combines are going to be one of those things we're going to have to pay attention to. Row crop tractors, I think, are going to be one of those things we're going to have to pay attention to. But I don't see the 4-wheel drive marketplace becoming an issue. Yeah.
With combines, they had that September 22 day in the sun.
Yeah,
a little bit of October. That's it.
That was it.
I hope you all enjoyed it. Combines weren't a problem for a month and a half.
We're here to party. Yeah. So,
but into your point, Casey, I would say watching what's going on, and it ties directly in with that scarcity premium. The late low starts with a 4 is getting soft first. It always will. The lower, the less desirable machinery is cheap. Cheap is cheap. Junk is junk.
Right.
That mid level is holding on.
It is. And it's, our
favorite tractor, 15 to 3.
Yeah.
Or 15 to 25.
And there's not that many of them, right?
No,
So,
there aren't.
so I started tracking stuff where I'm looking at,
Because that tractor hasn't shown up for 3 years.
yeah. So I've been tracking this where I'm tracking things by how many machines are in a specific dollar group.
Mhm.
Just kind of checking across there. I want to say combines, there's like 1,200 machines that are over 500,000. There are
1,200.
1,200. Yeah. But that, if you think about that, how that resides in there, there's a lot of machines in that mix that are, I want to say there was like, I put in 400 hours, which had been 400 engine hours, so been roughly 300-ish separator hours, 250 separator, something like that. And there were like 1,100 machines in that mix that were over $500,000.
Do you think that's technically 2 years of supply? Is that why?
Well, I think a lot of it was so much that we had a big run of machines show up late.
Mm-hmm.
They got through halfway through harvest, and then they traded them in on a new one.
Right.
So now we got a bunch of machines laying out there that have 200 hours or less on them, more than we've ever had.
50,
And
30.
There's some machines out there that have 6 hours. And that's the,
Yeah.
and they're a used machine.
Right.
So now, as you're looking at these machines, I think now, before I did that analysis, I was kind of overwhelmed by that number. The reason I'm not overwhelmed by that number now,
Yes, please share.
well, I mean, because I think now you have a viable option for the guy that wants a new combine
But can't get
that
it.
can't get the new
Right.
combine,
Talked to several of them.
right? So there's a guy's like, I'd love to get a new combine, but I'm not going to pay 650,000. I'm not going to pay 700,000. I'm not going to pay 600,000. I can pay 525,000. Great, here you go. Here's a 100-hour option for you.
Right.
Boom.
Paint's off the augers. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. So now you have a good viable option for that person to come in there. The other thing about the combine market to me that symbolizes, this is a guy that's really pays, like really associates everything to the washout cycle. When you look at the line across there, you got 1,200 machines in this bucket over here, and the next bucket down, you got like 700, which would be like the $400,000 to $499,000, and then you got another bucket over here, which I want to say was the $300,000 to $399,000, and there was about 1,000 machines in that mix. So there's about almost as many machines as like 1,032 or something like that.
Right.
Of those machines in that bucket compared to the machines in the 1,200 out bucket. So where now you've got this.
So the tweener is the thin part, but
it's not as thin as I thought it would be.
yeah, it should be like
500.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's over half still.
Machines under $75,000 or less, $75,000 or less, there's 1,700 of them.
That's a problem.
Exactly. Because what are you doing with them?
No. Those combines aren't a problem. There are almost as, I know we're talking a few hundred, but they both start with a 1. Okay. In theory, there's as many S7 something or 9250 reds or ideal, whatever, as there are 9600s.
Yeah.
And I promise you, the 70 series and older are easier to sell all day, every day than 500.
But I think what we're running it where my panic's not the right.
And I'm not talking about like legitimate buying cycles and all that. I'm talking about cleaning the lot.
Sure. So where my worry comes into play, and you start looking at
Asses for seats.
Well, you start looking at $150,000 less machine. There's 25 to 30, almost 3,000 combines in that mix.
Yeah.
You start looking at that, and you're starting to ask. I mean, the question you should be asking, if you have something like that on your lot, who are you selling that to?
Very few people ask that question.
And I think the question is, even at a $300,000 machine, you have a better likelihood of selling that machine to Mexico than you do a $75,000 machine.
Not to rain on the parade. I would say if you're talking, my main 2 exports are South and Asia. Okay. You got to be under 3.
But you don't have to be under 75,000.
No.
That's the point I'm making.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Yeah.
If you're selling to Asia, you got to be pretty much sub 250. If it's going Mexico, South America, you got to be sub 2. But you're right. It was 5 years ago that had to be 50.
Yeah. $50,000 comment, things have changed where you're looking at now.
But I think if I was to look behind the curtain and try to throw a dart at a board, when I say Asia, it's China. China's buying combines every color, all over, everywhere.
Right.
All my counterparts are selling combines. Most of my counterparts are selling equipment to China. Usually always harvesters, forage, combines, never tractors. Very rarely ever asked. The only time I get asked on a tractor is like banged out 60 series.
Mm-hmm.
8760. Like,
right.
Yeah, that'll look good next to your 780.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But we only have good diesel for the combines. We have to put that chunky stuff in the tractor.
Filter first.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously they got more money to do their government takeover. Let's not get political, but they are funded so much more deeply than the guy that's buying it and flipping it to another guy down there.
Mm-hmm.
That is like corporate farm structure, buying this, starting,
right,
versus that guy. They have changed his market.
Right.
I think that's exactly what's happened because he can call and, well, I used to get that combine for 100. Well, I sold it for 150. Oh shit. So the next one's 155.
Right.
It's kind of auction.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah. And I think when I'm looking at another thing too, when I'm looking at that is that just the way the combine market's laid out there, we've got as many combines now as we did when we were.
No, don't say it. It's 5 digits again. I looked the other day. It wasn't 5 digits yet.
Close, but not.
It's in the 9s.
98s.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, we're like 20.
Nobody trade, please.
We're like 2020 level combines again. So
yeah.
We were not 2015 level, 2016 level combine,
right?
But and I don't think we're ever going to get there again.
There's
not enough.
There's no way. We can't build that many machines to get to that point.
Yeah. So that's going to be a deal.
It's just like the planter thing. I don't think there will ever be a planter glut again.
The planter marketplace is so. There was like 3,700 planters on the market, and it goes from 18 at $500,000 or more on the marketplace to like, I want to say it was like 17 or 1,800, 20, it might have been 2,000. There's like 2,000 planters ish, something like that. I got to go back and look. I'm thinking off the top of my head here that were under $75,000.
Oh, I'm surprised it's not 11 billion
because but the thing about the auction market or the combine market, or the planter market, when it goes from there is that it goes hardly any. And then that filter just keeps getting wider and wider. And
right.
Wider right. Usually it goes, you start out here and you work your way down to here and you come to a point. Well, there's no point, man. It's just
right.
So that by itself, when I look at the planter marketplace, dude, there's no way. There's no way with the way the adoption and the interest in upgrade kits have taken over. More and more people are going to, if anything, we might have a planter problem just because I'm just going to upgrade what I got. You know what I mean? I think that, I mean, that could cause a problem, but even if it could cause a problem, you can still, the thing that you can say to somebody is you have a 2004 bar, right? It's 2023. Your bar's almost 20 years old. Maybe we should get you this 2015
or buy a 16 and then
we'll upgrade that, right.
Because that's my problem. I mean, that is a beautiful, wonderful thing that we're able to do, but it creates a problem.
A little bit.
To a point. Yeah. Because you have to rely on the buyer truly wrapping his head around, other than that bar, everything's new.
Right.
Okay. And that's hard to do.
I don't think it will. I think that'll be the easiest sale that you can make.
It hasn't been so far.
but it's getting easier. And I think here's the deal. You can buy, we're talking 24-row planters.
Yep.
And I'm just throwing numbers out here. Let's say that the 24-row planter is $450,000. The upgrade kit.
So it has boxes.
Right.
And chain drive.
Right. It's $450,000. And then you get the upgrade kit and it's $175,000 or $200,000.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at, for me, I'm like, and you're saying to me, you're going to get exactly the same stuff. Tanks, you start looking at CCS tanks or something like that. Here's the new updated CCS tank that's going to be added to that.
Oh, that's right.
Here's the this, da. Next thing you know, sir, you have to replace some pivot points and you're good to go. So for just saying like 250 all in,
and if you were a dealer, you guessed the labor about half right when you originally tripled it.
Right. Yeah. But I think that's the thing about those.
$150 an hour to zip tie this harness. Like,
you have, so I think that's going to be a big draw there. And then you start looking at the other side of that too, is the sprayer market is even less. There's like 1,800 plant sprayers on the market.
Yeah. And
it's a problem.
It is. It's a good problem, is how I would say it. But the thing with sprayers, I'm still not seeing tech jump on them like it is combines, planters, tractors.
I think you will now. I think now when you start looking at, you got Deere's and spray, you've got AGCO's fence. I apologize, I don't know what it's called.
Case Age AIM,
and then you got
AIM Command,
and then you've got Fence got a version of that on their new sprayers. I mean, these kind of things are going to start coming up to where you had some. I mean, I think you had burnt boom purge stuff, and you had some reclaim technology and those kind of things where you can suck everything back in and not waste 25 gallons to clear out your booms or whatever. That kind of stuff. You saw a little bit of that kind of stuff get added on. But now you're looking at some of these booms where you have to replace the whole boom now for the auto header or auto boom height and those kind of things to work correctly with the whatever technology that you got on there, because you have a different boom system and all that. I mean, to me, I think when I look at that, I think we are going to see a lot of R series sprayers that are 15, 16, 17 model sprayers that get updated because they can now.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? And they might have 3,000 or 4,000 hours on them, but now they've got, for all intents and purposes, they're brand new.
Right.
But
when you get to,
you got wheel motors and you got
when you get to powered equipment, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, and that's
you can even update a VT. Sure. As long as this bolts on where frame is welded.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We changed these blades and now it's this. And
yeah. But I think that's where, when I look at the sprayer market, the big hang up that I have, which I still think this is going to take off and run, but the big hang up I have on some of that stuff is, all right, cool. You get a 5,000 hour sprayer that you can upgrade now. But I guess if you do the math on it, and if I can upgrade the technology and booms and everything else I need to have, and I put all brand new wheel motors on it, and the hydrostat's fine, the engine's fine, and it's $300,000 less than the new machine. What I mean,
it's kind of like when we had Ben on, with their older 2-tracks.
Yeah,
they're doing a lot of that, and that's been a cat thing forever, as you know. That was your world. That's kind of the predecessor of what's happening,
right?
And do you think? Well, this is probably completely obvious. It's just we've crossed 500,000 on everything.
Yeah.
And that is going to stop. I got to have the new bar.
Right.
I got to have the new stickers. Well, I guess you get the new stickers, but
Yeah. So think about it just go back to planners for a minute. So think about when high-speed row units came, Deere's high-speed row units came out. It's 2015, right? In 2015, you could upgrade new row units and put it on I think it was back to 2004 or something like that. Precision plan, you've been able to do that forever. Right? That's nothing new there. But the difference between why it took so long, I think, for it to really catch on and run is you could buy a brand new 1775
for not much more,
$175,000,
right?
$180,000, and then you put your fertilizer on there. You might spend another 60 grand, so you're like 210, 215 all in.
And even if it was, which it was, that was still 30%, 25% more or less than buying a new planter.
Yeah, so you're upgrading your planter for $120,000.
But you're not. When you buy that new one, you lower your 3-point and grab it, take it home, and you're done.
Right.
Versus and that falls on the dealer too.
Right.
It's easier for us to do that versus the upgrade and figure it all out. So when that gap was smaller, that's why it didn't really take off.
Yeah, I mean,
and now it's exploding.
The juice wasn't worth the squeeze at the point.
Right.
Yeah.
So the sprayer, I'll just use Exact Emergent Aim. Okay. Haven't taken off like the planner stuff, like did I say Exact Emergent? Yeah.
I know what you meant.
So everything's exact something, exact shot.
Yeah.
The Exact Apply Aim does not have near the adoption rate that the Exact Emerge or Precision, full precision speed tube, everything. And I don't know why, other than, nobody ever calls on a planner and says, that doesn't have Exact Emerge, does it? I don't want that.
Right.
They do on sprayers.
Right.
Now, I know with sprayers, two neighbors aren't going to spray the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That one's spraying yellow gunky shit, and I'd love it, but I can't, this guy's not. So sprayers as a whole, everybody's planting, you put corn in the box.
Right.
Everybody's handling the same stuff planner wise.
Yep.
They're not in that tank. Right. So and I don't know if that's right, but I got a feeling that's got to be why.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah. And that's another thing too.
And it's not that it doesn't work on everything. It's perception.
Sure. I think now with what we see happening, I would think that, remember direct inject?
Oh yeah.
It's still like you're still hairy. You can't. It's like
and why isn't that just standard, man? Like that ought to solve every problem ever.
Because now, especially now,
right?
We can do all the reclaims that you want to.
Starting with one guy shooting another guy over dicamba drift.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a big story there for a minute. But yeah, you have all that stuff kind of figured out and playing into it. When I look at how the spray market plays in it, it's just now that machines have gotten to where there have been the expense of the new machine compared to what it would cost to totally rebuild what you got and make it new again. There's enough difference in there. And you get relatively close to the same kind of a warranty.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
How close?
Well, if you look at,
as a dealer, as a company, that's a brand new engine. Yes, I'll stand behind it for 2 years, 2,000 hours.
Right.
That one's got 3,000 hours on it. The samples were good. Doesn't mean it doesn't have a see-through block tomorrow.
Sure.
The new one can do it too. But that's my point. Yes, the new stuff's $500,000, but it's got a $100,000 engine. It's got a $50,000 hydro. That is what is still going to push buying new if the upgrade does not even, if it's not even keel.
Yeah. So I think that's where you start looking at companies like Machinery Scope or something like that.
Right.
Where you sit down with them and say, look, hey, I'm going to start this program. What kind of
what
kind of deal can you do?
Exactly. And if you have a company like Machinery Scope, you can you could have a dealer wide sit down, like we're going to establish this is our program.
Yeah.
You can't do that if it's manufacturer supplied and it's stamped. This is what we do.
Yep.
These are your options. There's nothing else.
That'd be an interesting conversation with Ben,
Yeah.
Be like, how do you guys, what do you guys, how's this
Maybe
work?
we should have him back.
We should. But I think when you're
spring, we need some boots on the ground again.
So when you have, I just think when I look at that, to me, it makes a lot of sense that, hey, here's a total kind of retrofit, what it looks like, and here's what it costs, and here's what the brand new one costs. Technology wise, everything's the same. you might have a more efficient engine that's new or something like that. Whatever. You might have some technology in the engine that uses a gallon less an hour than what you have or something like that.
Semi guy's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Backwards though.
What do you mean?
Fancy truck, old motor.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
I got an 09 Pete with a 96 cat in it. Oh, that's why you can't stand by the stacks when you punch it. Right on.
But you have it'll be interesting to watch how what that does. And so kind of where am I going with all this? When I look at the limited supply of sprayers, the limited supply of planters, I'm not really that worried about where it goes, what's it look like. My concern with some of that stuff is, we might not have very many, but if I'm just going to go watch Netflix and get the latest movie, I'm not going to go pay $50 to go watch a movie at the theater. Right. Same deal here is if I can make my machine do exactly what I want the new one to do, and it's going to cost me less money, I'm going to entertain that.
Yeah.
I might, the new one might win out for a multitude of reasons, but if I can make what I have do what the new one's going to do for half the price.
Oh, I bet it is 1,000% more of a discussion now than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yep. And that functionally changes where we go now.
Which is funny because that like upgrade stuff was like 16, 17 that started. Be like, why would we do that? Because in 3 years, there's going to be a global pandemic and shut everything down for half a decade.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Especially when you're looking at just the supply of machines. Now, same thing happened with tractors. When the autonomous kits start coming out and you start putting them on tractors, now you start looking at, well, how often do I need to get a new tractor now? At what point? I bought the new tractor because it's got the heated floor mats. You know what I mean?
That's about all we're missing.
You know what I mean? It's like now, I got the vibrating seat now that massages me as I'm driving through the field, to me, I think the span of equipment and when stuff gets traded in gets so lengthened over time that the idea of trading stuff every year is just not. I just don't think it's going to be a thing that we have to worry about in 5 years.
Right. I'm just waiting for them to throw that adapter kit to get that signature cab on a 55 series, 40 series.
It's just a sticker. Here you go.
No, I want the cab.
You want the cab.
I want the seat and the cab. Hey, can you guys come out here? I need a service call. My subwoofer isn't working.
Refrigerator's not quite as cold as I like it. But so as you look, so I think some of the stuff cleans itself up a little bit, but at the same time, I told this to somebody the other day, if you have one machine and nobody wants to buy it, you have a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you might only have 5 combines, but if nobody's buying those 5 combines, you have a combine problem.
And it goes back, Casey, to what we've talked a lot about through 22. It's not a numbers problem in the machine count. Right. We only have 3, but they're all severely killing us.
Sure. Yeah. It's
$150 a day interest.
Yeah.
On a combine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
what's that in a month? Your margin and your shop bill.
Yeah. It's a fair amount.
It's gone.
It's a fair amount. So I guess as I look at this and I see how things are playing out to me, I'm not necessarily saying there's going to be a combine problem or there's going to be a sprayer problem. There's going to be a planter problem or a tractor problem for that matter. I don't think that from a numbers perspective that we're used to seeing was like, oh my God, we got a problem. Those numbers will be smaller. How we handle those machines as they go through the life cycle and washout cycle and those kind of things is going to dramatically change so much that it won't be, hey, guess what? We got and I don't see auctions being the same play as they've been in the past either. I just think guys are going to hold their machines longer.
Yeah. The auction, when we, as the softening continues, Auction's a less and less viable option because it's going to hurt more and more and more by the week when that starts. And it's not, we don't have 10 problems. We have 3.
Yep.
Like, let's not do that. And they sit, and then it just every day, man.
Yep.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
It'll be interesting to watch how it plays out, because I do think we're seeing in the next 5 years, and I've been saying that for a while, but we're going to see the way things change is going to be so different that we won't recognize what we see today.
And I would kind of say on top of what you said, Casey, and I don't know if this is right, wrong, or whatever, but I'm with you. I don't think there's going to be a certain segment that is a problem. I think it's going to be an industry-wide, just general problem.
It's going to be a reset.
Yeah. There's going to be a reset that has a lot of damn zeros, and it's going to hurt. But if you're smart and trying to be healthy and used equipment, you should be all right.
But I don't think the reset is hey, we're going to go auction off a bunch of equipment. It's the reset is we've just totally transformed how we do business and how equipment's used. That's what I think. That's what I think the reset.
Okay. I'm talking more on just the dollars of what stuff is as it leaves.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I think what we've talked about so far is that just the number of machines that are out there.
Right.
There's not enough machines to have a quote unquote problem.
Yeah.
That's going to be, because you just take a look.
Take a look at choppers. If you have one, you have a problem.
Well, milk price is back up, baby. We're back in the game. Back in the game. All right. Good place to stop. Aaron, folks want to reach out to you and get more information about what you're doing. What's the best place to do that?
Well, pretty active on the ag Twitter at Aaron Fintel. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, I think everything but like Instagram. Just
You're
because,
not on the gram?
Huh?
Not on the gram?
I'm not on the gram because I don't get it. Like, I'm like, what's the point of the gram? Well, you put pictures on it, like Facebook. Yeah, but it's just pictures. I'm like,
and videos.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, so it's like every other thing. Like, I don't need it.
I don't get what's the one that disappears?
TikTok.
I hate no
or Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Yeah,
I don't get that one.
Snapchat's ridiculous. I don't get TikTok. But anyway, I'm not on that either.
The Chinese do.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
That's how they launch balloons.
Yeah.
So on the social medias, all at my name. Call me, text preferred 308-760-1193, or email me, aaron.fintel@movingironllc.com.
Right on. I'm Casey Seymour. Find me at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. You can go to LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast. Check out the YouTube version of this over at the YouTube channel, which is the Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. I know, really creative, really
dialed in, baby, dialed in.
Marketing, that's best right there. Check it out. Check that out. Go to MovingIronLLC.com for everything Moving Iron related. Check out the upper right-hand corner. Click on that for Moving Iron Summit page. You'll see all the information. They're doing a little something different this year. We got a really, really good speaker coming in on the first day. We got some other speakers associated on that first day, but that second day is you're going to have, there's 10 classes that we're going to have, 10 breakout sessions, and you have time for about 7. So hopefully I have that up this weekend. You guys can check that out and get signed up. If you want to get signed up, make sure you're one of the first 150 people to do that, and the people at Axon will give you $50 discount for doing that. So check that out. Also, I just want to say it's been an honor putting this podcast together and doing it. I released my 1,000th podcast here not too long ago, and guys like Aaron here have been a big part of that, and I appreciate all the listeners out there that have listened to this podcast and made it where I wanted to keep doing it. And this is something I've got a lot of passion about, and I really thoroughly enjoy talking about the used equipment marketplace and how things are unraveling and what's that look like. So without everybody that been listening to that, I want to say thank you for putting up with the mediocre effort that I put out sometimes. So I appreciate it.
What do you always say about one of my favorite teams?
What's that?
Celebrate mediocrity. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
I will say this real quick about Moving Iron Summit. I know a lot of guys that go there are my contacts, so it's kind of slap and tickle deal. as a used guy in the business, you get tons and tons of emails. Hey, we're having this. Hey, we're having this. Come to this and reinvent the wheel. Been to it all. There is nothing like moving iron to truly know the people, learn a little something, and it is the single best thing to know. I know exactly who that guy is next week when we email. I know who he is. Oh, hey, it's April. Going to see you this September. Hell yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
You know, it just changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And more guys come every year, all colors.
Yep. And that's one thing too. You know, if you want more information about it, send me an email at MovingIronPodcast at MovingIronPodcast.com and I'll get that answer back to you. But I would say, you know, this started out in 2013 as how are we going to get through what we see coming, and it's kind of transformed into a bigger thing now. And you know, last year we had 137 people and 62 dealerships.
First year was what, 15?
15.
Yep.
Yeah. So we had a pretty good run here. This will be the last year should have been the 10th year for it, but COVID got us that one. So this will be the 10th.
But you did try 5 times in the COVID to have a meeting.
I really did. I tried my damnedest, but so check that out. You know, I like I said, you know, like Aaron said, I think it's worthwhile. Everyone that's been to it said it's been worthwhile, and you know, I think there's something to learn from all that. So anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
I just thought I'd throw that out there because usually I do. It's been a couple months, and we're in the calendar year.
Yeah,
we're 6 months out.
Mm-hmm.
Dial in, boys. Let's roll.
Let's roll up. So
come to Nashville and buy a bunch of combines from me.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll have more.
Yeah. So I guess with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Aaron Fintel. Excuse mine, folks. Out.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard